Hello and welcome to We Buy Any Motorcaravan. Today we've got a little bit of a different video for you. We're going to be talking to Maria Hanson Mbe, who I know as Auntie Maria, and talking about the wonderful charity Me Dee, who us at We Buy Any Motorcaravan love to support as much as we can. So, hello Auntie Maria, first of all.
Hi Liam, it's lovely to see you here at the lodge.
Yes, very nice, and what a beautiful day it is. So, tell us all about Me Dee. How did it start? Where did the idea come from?
So of course, Delia was your auntie as well.
Yes.
Me Dee is me and Delia, even though people put M-E-E, it isn't. I'm the me, Delia's the D.
I have made that mistake for myself in the past.
As you all know, Liam, I was really poorly. I had several years of surgery done. Hit very hard at home, caused massive upsets at home, lots of body changing surgery. Basically, I needed to turn to a charity to get help from.
Yeah.
I couldn't get help, and there was only one reason for that, and that was because I couldn't tick a box. I'd had septicemia twice, MRSA. When you look at tick boxes when you're applying for help, it has to be cancer, it has to be leukemia, you have to be a certain age.
Very limited.
Yeah. And so Delia and I used to speak about this a lot. We were incredibly close. And we actually had one whole day in the November of 2005 when we went out for breakfast, and she ended up staying over at mine. And we literally spent 24 hours talking about...
Because you could both talk.
Did you notice that?
Yes, yes.
So we did all the charity shops and Weatherspoons and all of that, but all through that day and night we spoke about if we ran a charity, what we would do, and all of what we would do was based on what we could see was missing, really. And a lot of people who set up a charity, that's why they do it, because they needed help and they couldn't get it for a reason.
It's personal to them.
Yeah. And so we came up with all these ideas that there would be no tick boxes, we wouldn't take a salary, it would be for the parent or the child, we'd have our phones on 24 hours a day, so we will get to know the families rather than just a name on an application form.
It's making them feel special as well.
Absolutely, so they know that somebody's there. You know, for a lot of families who need somebody to talk to, the only option they've got is the Samaritans, and they don't want the Samaritans.
No.
They just want somebody at the end of a phone. And so we came up with all these ways of what we would do it. We never spoke about the name. And then, of course, the next month, Delia died when we thought she would live forever, albeit she had cancer. I was back in hospital again with a nurse that knew both Delia and I, because we'd been on the same ward. And she said, did you and your cousin ever do anything about that charity? I said, you know what, me and Dee, we spoke about it for a whole day and night, but we never chose a name. And she said, surely that's your name, isn't it?
Me Dee.
Simple as that. And so that's what it is. It's me and Delia.
Which is great. So when you first started, what was the idea of trying to help? Obviously, we're now sat at this wonderful lodge on the edge of Sherwood Forest, but I know it didn't start like that.
No. When we set it up, it was a treat charity. So very often, if you're poorly or disabled or whatever, people will put things in place for you because they think that's what you need.
Yeah.
So our idea was to talk to families and find out what we could do that was low cost but high impact.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, families who want to make memories together, they just want to do something to make memories together. We don't ask people their financial details because you can have all the money in the world, but if you haven't got the headspace to sort something out, that's what matters. Yeah. And so it started off as a treat charity, but treat was never really the right word for it. Now when I look back, I think it should have been called memory making experiences. Yeah. So St Giles Hospice, where we lost my sister Shani and your mum, would get in touch and say, oh, Jane needs to get married in 3 days. Could you sort out the horse and carriage, the church, the vicar, the DJ, everything? And that's what I would do. I'd work through the night if that's what it took. I just wouldn't go to bed to get that done. Or it could be a child that wanted to go in a fast car. So it was making everything bespoke by the fact that I would speak to the family and understood what they need. Also, we think about the siblings a lot. So we would
'Cause
include.
It does impact the whole family.
It does.
It really does, and that's not just children; it's the adults and the parents and everybody as well.
Yeah, it is. If you've got a child really poorly in hospital, especially through these last 2 years of COVID, children have died in hospital without seeing their siblings or the other parent, and it's terrible. So it's just making something happen to make time together.
Yeah.
So I did that for a few years completely on my own, just as a little charity.
Yeah.
Then I was then on The Secret Millionaire.
Yes.
On TV, and suddenly my tiny little unknown charity run from my tiny bungalow
Absolutely exploded.
it exploded. £10,000 was put in, which sounds enormous, but I went from one person a month getting in touch to 10, 15, 20 people a month, and so it became something that couldn't be managed from home.
And somebody very special, I believe, watched that episode.
Yes.
Whilst being in a hotel room late at night. Do you want to go into a bit more detail on that? Because it blew my mind when you told me about it.
So I actually thought, we'd just been talking about my brother Danny, who's a real big joker.
Yes.
And so I'm sitting at home, you know, in my hairnet and my dressing gown with my Horlicks one night. The phone rings, this American sounding voice. Is that Maria Hanson? I've just been watching you on the TV. This is David Guest. Do you know who I am? Well, I know who David Guest is. And I went, yeah, pull the other one, Danny. And it sort of finished the phone call, and the phone rang again. And it really was David Guest, the famous celebrity. And he said they wanted to help. How he helped was the very next day, one of his young aides turned up at my house at nearly midnight with a van full of hundreds and hundreds of pounds worth of merchandise that was his, that he passed over. And what happened with David Guest was he became a friend. So he put a little bit of money in, but what he did was he asked me to all his private parties, to London. I went on the
I'm sure you absolutely hated.
I hated that.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
I hated that. So it was a pain and a pleasure situation, because that friendship existed because I was just a friend and I never mentioned meanddee or looking for money. So I would actually sit with Sheila Ferguson, Petula Clark, all of those people, four tops.
And you could see it was genuine.
Yeah, because he knew, and I was put in those privileged situations. The downside was that people thought we didn't need any money because we had all this massive support. When he died, I was the only member of the public, non-celebrity, at his funeral.
Yeah.
So that was a very weird situation.
Surreal.
Yeah.
Very surreal, I imagine. Yeah.
I'm on poor Getty photos with Sheila Ferguson and Petula Clark and all the rest of them, but it was an incredible time, and so that was a big shift in the world of meanddee, because suddenly we were so well known. The treats became harder and harder to manage because they were so bespoke.
And the demand, I imagine, just went through the roof.
It did, and also I made myself quite ill by panicking that I wouldn't get something done for somebody when they'd only got 1 or 2 days to live. And that's when we then moved into an office, a supported office, and we became a holiday charity.
Yes.
So we had our caravan in Mablethorpe.
Yes.
When I first met Mark, which was only 7 years ago,
Is that all it is?
Yes.
Wow.
He didn't quite
Feels
get.
like he's been around for. He's not here, so I can say this. It feels like he's been around forever.
I know.
But that's a compliment.
Yeah.
He'll take it. He might take it differently, but it is a compliment.
It's impossible to think of a time when he wasn't there,
No,
really.
no, it is right. Yes.
And people think we've been together forever.
Yeah. It feels like it. I bet.
Yes.
Yeah.
People say to me, "I met your husband." I say, "Don't give me a heart attack." You know. Look at that.
As you know, we are surrounded by wildlife here in the forest, as we said.
But yes, so
I don't know if you can even put a number on this, but how many families or people would you say that over the years meanddee has helped?
we know it's over 3,000.
Wow.
And when you think that our team has only ever been 2.5 people,
Yeah.
because I'm completely unsalaried, so on the 15th of July last year, when meanddee was 15,
Yes.
I worked my 30,000th volunteer hour.
Wow.
Because we always said, Delia and I, that we would only make meanddee manageable to a small amount of staff.
Yeah.
It would never grow so out of control that we needed a whole big office of staff to run it.
Yeah.
When I say it's manageable, Mark and I often work 7-day weeks. We'll work 14 days, have a day off, but that's a commitment to Me and Dee. The ethos of Me and Dee has to always stay.
It's the passion, and it's the passion and compassion as well.
That's right.
And it's having that personal touch that you deal with every family that comes through, which just makes it even more special. And having been to the charity ball last year, which was amazing, to get to see some of the families and see how it's impacted their lives for the better, it really is magical. So we're sat in this wonderful lodge now. When did this idea become an idea?
So we had our caravans in Mablethorpe. We had 2 next to each other, and we'd moved from the Haven site to a beautiful site, and we found a caravan in a situation with more or less an outlook like the forest. It was beautiful, and they said there will be no building for 10 years there. We went at a time when I was particularly poorly. We found the caravan hadn't been cleaned well. We were trying to clean the caravan. It was a 6-hour round trip. The weather was awful, and all this building site was going on. So you were sat on the decking really poorly in your pyjamas with a building site 2 inches away from you.
Not the relaxing, tranquil,
and it was
the way that it should be.
That's right. It was just the end for us. And we didn't really know what we'd do. We just knew that we couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And so we came back, had a trustee meeting, and we spoke about having one beautiful lodge. Now at that time we were looking at Ashbourne, and we went to various sites in Ashbourne, none which fit the bill because we put ourselves in the family situation, so it can't just be a lodge. Everything else around it has to work. And in the meantime, the manager of this site, Alan Sibthorpe, had rung me up. He'd heard about the charity, and he said, I need to have your charity at Sherwood Hideaway. And I said, no, we're going to Ashbourne. And he continually rang me up and said, right, what you need to do is you need to come and stay here, and I'll convince you this is where Me and Dee needs to be. So we came and stayed. We brought some of the family with us, came over for a day, and of course everybody fell in love with it. And Alan Sibthorpe
as we did as when we pulled up on the drive earlier.
He was absolutely right. We needed to be here. Now we knew that we could no way raise £150,000 just to buy a lodge. And so we, one of our, Anita, that's been involved in the charity for a long time, suggested like the brick in the wall. You buy a piece of it. And so Mark literally took the top off the lodge and broke it up into little squares, and so you could buy a square for £50, or you could buy a room. Some people brought a side of a room. The Worrells all clubbed together and brought a piece of the lodge, or you could buy a bit of the decking or the hot tub. And so the whole £150,000 was broken into £50 squares. Anybody buying the square became a memory shareholder. So it's not a shareholder that they've got any say in the lodge. We just thought that was a lovely thing to give people back. They got a little heart with Memory Maker on it. And that's how we brought the lodge within a year.
How long have you had the lodge now for?
3 years.
3 years. And it's full pretty much every week?
It's full for the whole of this year apart from 5 weeks.
We're here on a very lucky day, which is a
changeover day.
A changeover day, cleaning, replenishment. And also, you will see, we're sat with the elephant, Hope. Can you tell me a bit more about Hope?
So I'm always striving, always when I can't sleep, thinking, what could we do more? What could we do more? What could we do more? Just to make those memories. And so I thought, well, we could leave a teddy or something in the lodge. We use Victoria, who does all our printing from Penline, and we had to look at lots of teddies and things. But then I thought, oh, when I saw Hope the elephant, I thought, oh, an elephant never forgets, and it's about memories, so that would be really lovely. But then when she came, she had a zipped ear, which is so that Victoria can open the ear and embroider a Hope on there. But what I've done is, I thought we could use this ear. So in this ear is a little voice recorder.
Wow.
Like that, little heart, and some little notelets which Yvonne from Essential Print who supports us makes, and that means that when the family are here they can leave a little message.
And when it's all about making memories, that just epitomises it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's so nice.
And so for many of our families, they're facing uncertain futures,
Yeah.
but we also get many families who this will be their very last holiday together.
Yeah.
And it means that they can zip that memory into her ear.
Every memory is so precious then.
And she'll never forget.
Yeah.
And people can sponsor these for £25.
Yeah.
And then because
You can do it on the website, can't you?
You can do it on the website because we always acknowledge what people do.
Yeah.
You can fill in a lovely tag here, leave your message for the family on the back.
Yes.
And then we put them all round her neck
Yeah.
when we come.
It's amazing. So what's the continued plans now? Is it just continue with the lodge, see as many families as you can, create as many memories as you can, I suppose?
Yeah, we are #memorymakers. That's who we are. We can get, with short breaks, we can get around 70 families maybe away in the lodge.
Yeah.
We try and help 100 families a year, but last year we had 200. And so
Wow.
if people come to us and they need support, we don't turn them away. It might be something like a bouquet of flowers and some
Yeah.
chocolates. It may be Amazon vouchers.
Yeah.
It may be a day at Harry Potter World. We get a lot of families that just could never ever go away for a week.
Yeah.
They just need
Just
a day.
something for a day.
So we'll always look at what we can do.
So if people want to, and that's what we hope people want to do, is get involved and help out. It doesn't have to be a massive donation. You've seen Hope the Elephant, £25, and the smile it can put on a kid's face is priceless. How else can people or companies get involved to help out with you?
We have the monthly sponsorship. You can join that for just £5 a week. It's less than the cost of 2 cups of Costa coffee.
Which ironically we've just sent Mark off to buy some.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's £20 a month. You're a silver sponsor then. You're on our website, on our social media. It matches your corporate social responsibility. That goes up to £250 a month. As a diamond sponsor on £250 a month, you get a free table at the ball, different things like that. You're actually gold sponsors, aren't you?
Yes, we are, yes.
And that helps us hugely because that's the only set income that we know that we've
The
got.
only guaranteed income.
We don't get grants because we can't tick boxes.
Yeah.
So we rely on people supporting us with events. Making us your charity of the year is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
You could do a cake bake and buy a couple of hopes.
Yeah.
It's so easy to support Me and Dee. And the thing is, when you do, you can see exactly where your money's going, and it certainly isn't into an office full of staff.
No.
So if you go onto the website and go on to support us,
And we'll put a link on the video as well for you to click on.
it shows all the way that you can support us on there, through running, putting on an event. Coming to our events is great. We have business network events.
Yes. Not another networking event.
That's right, that we're trying to build. One at the Derby Conference Centre, which is an evening one, and we've just started at the Greyhound in Woodville with a
Yes.
morning one. We've got a golf day. We're looking for teams for the golf day. So if you go and look at our supporters page and our events page, then you can find out how easy
Lots
it
of
is.
options.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's a pleasure to be here. Even more special because you're not Maria Hanson Mbe to me. You are Auntie Maria, and always will be. And we're all proud of you. It's amazing. I hope you've liked seeing something different from us today. I'm usually stood in front of a motorhome. This is very different, but very special. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Very busy, but no, it's amazing. Let us know what you think. We always ask for likes, any comments. We'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. Hit that subscribe button. More importantly, hit the link for Me and Dee. If you want to help out, there's many ways you can do that. Thank you very much,
Thank you, Liam.
and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye.